Yeah, Dave, I've never been able to get that to work. I've tried it. My thing, I bought my first lithium or my first Ryobi 18 volt kit with the saw, the circular saw, the Sawzall, the flashlight, and the drill in 1998 or 1999. I had some smaller stuff before that, but that's when I went up to the 18. And I've got the one hand chuck. I got the other old version. I've got a few of the drills, and none of those tools have ever broken down on me. But I just don't like the old nickel cadmium batteries. I got one of these. It's the OnePlus lithium ion. I bought this with the charger. The charger's yellow or lime green. And I found this at Goodwill for $6.99. I didn't think it would be good. I took it home. It was good. And I have been running this without issue. And it's lasted me years. Never had a problem. It takes about 15 minutes to charge. And as far as your idea goes, there's not enough amperage produced by a power supply as opposed to a battery. That's why when you charge the battery, it sits on the charger for as long as it does. So the analogy that I could use to try to explain this would be a McDonald's coffee straw versus a fire hose. So the amount of water that can pass through that small straw represents a power supply, something that we plug into the wall like this, a power supply, whereas the battery would be the fire hose, and that these power tools, they require that much power. They need that much amperage. It's that old adage that you hear that it's not the voltage that will kill you, it's the amperage, and that's true. And it also has to do with why these things are heavy and why they take the amount of time that they do on the charger. Now, through my experiments here, I've got a pretty significant collection of power supplies from shopping at Salvation Army and Goodwill. I've been going often, and I've been going for a long time. Ever since I was a kid, I was into resale shopping, and I go a lot. And I look to buy power supplies for 99 cents every time I go, and I look for the highest rated, not so much volts, but amperage power supplies. So that's been one of my obsessions, is every time I go to Goodwill, I look through all of the power supplies that they have there, and I buy the highest rated power supplies that they have. Right, Compty?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I've got a lot of them. Now, somewhere around after Y2K, like 2005 maybe, I got the same idea that you had messaged me about. This was before I got my OnePlus lithium ion battery for my Ryobi. And I tried what you were talking about, gutting the battery, removing the NiCad batteries, because what I initially would do is I would take all the NiCad batteries out and go through and test each one, and you would find one or two duds. So I've got bags with old NiCad batteries in them, and I would throw the bad ones out, solder in new ones, and then bring those NiCad packs back to life, put them back together. And it's a pain in the ass job. Anyway, what I tried to do was gut the batteries and just run a line, solder some wires onto these contacts and have that come out of the back of the cable and then go to a power supply. And what I found was I couldn't do it. The way that I was able to do it was implementing a battery pack. So this was this German guy, Kurt Wentz, gave me a Milwaukee 14.4 setup, and it was the charger and the battery was almost dead. And I soldered onto the charge points and put it on a board with a drill, with a 14.4 drill. Mounted that drill, drilled it into like a big chunky board with handles and felt on the bottom. So there's a light switch with a pigtail power cord, and that throws power to the battery charger, and then the 14.4 comes out and it goes to an AC light like a wall outlet box on the front. And there's a pigtail cord coming off of that drill that you can plug in and run the drill as a mini like bench grinder, like just for small the stuff that I do is small. And you could there's all holes drilled in all over it, and where I have all my little grinding wheels and wire wheels and stuff, so I could put whatever bit I need in there and then hit the switch and this drill fires up. But the only way that drill will run is if the battery is in line with it. So that outlet on the front, pretty much any old shitty drill that I find or run across garbage picked or somebody will give me, I will solder a AC cable onto it, and I can plug it into the that outlet on the front of that box, and it'll run off that box, which, like I said, that box is a Milwaukee 14.4 volt charger with the battery in it. And if you take the battery out, it automatically dies. It's not enough power. And the battery, it's weird. It's like it doesn't need to be charged. I do not understand how that works. Later on, I don't understand why it works when the battery's not charged. It doesn't make sense to me, because I'm picturing a reservoir that needs to be full, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It's like, as long as the battery's in there. Now, fast forward a few years, I ran into this again. I had a DC motor that I got at the junkyard in an RV. I went into this RV. It had all kinds of wasp nests in it. And there was a fan in the restroom. There's a toilet. So there's a fart fan on the top. And I got that motor, which looks identical to a disco ball motor, if you've ever seen one of those. Very similar. And we hooked that up in here for the family band on where the ceiling fan in our living room is right in the middle, right where the kid would stand at her station and sing. And we had this full-size disco ball that I had bought, and we hooked that up to that motor, ran the wire back and down to the ground, and then I started playing around with power supplies. And I mean, I've got 12 volt 5 amp power supply, big honking thing, and it's for running a cooler in a car. Like, you can have this hot cold cooler if you're traveling cross country, and it's a 5 amp power supply, and it wouldn't do it. So what I ended up doing, I had a car battery and a charger, and every time we played, that charger was on, recharging the car battery, and the motor worked off the battery. So I was never able to do that, what you're trying to do, without the batteries being involved. So if this was me, if I was in this position, like again, you said you have 12 of these batteries. I'm just having a hard time of understanding why these are failing you, because from my experiences, I charge this up and it's good to go, you know. But I'm not doing construction or anything like that. I do. It's light duty for my Ryobi set here. I don't use it much. But my experience with the lithium ion has been just unbelievably rewarding. You know, my deal is we go to these Goodwills and I'll find laptop battery packs and cut that open, and there'll be a few of these, like usually 8 of them in there. And this is the 18650. That's what's in here. It's probably 6 or 10 of these. And I have chargers for these, so I can charge them up individually. And this is what has enabled us to power all of the band gear when you see us making music outdoors. Is it's a box with a power amp in it, kind of like a car stereo power amp. And the mixer will run off of, like, usually there's about 15 of these in this box. And they power the MP3 player, they power the mixing board, whatever preamp. But the power amp runs off a much larger lithium ion pack that's made for an e-bike, a 48 volt e-bike battery. So, like, I think Walmart, you can get one of these for $16 there. If you look at places for vaping, you can get a better deal on these. This is what people use to vape. And you can get them on eBay. But that's been my solution, is these things. You know, I buy plastic trays where you solder them up, and you can make power packs and mount them up. And then I've got these 4-banger chargers, and I got a 10, charges 10. I got 3 of these, and then the 10 charger, so I can charge quite a few of them. And that's always just been, like, my plan is when this dies, I will open it up and I will carefully take everything apart. I'll buy more new lithium ion batteries and replace them in here, because the idea of making something that has to house lithium ion batteries that's different, that has a different connection protocol, a different charging protocol, doesn't make any sense financially and for the labor, because it's a huge project. Then just replacing what's in here, or even that might not be the wisest, because I see they have generic lithium ion batteries that are rated higher than this. This is rated at 24 WH. They had a 54 WH for $19. So again, I apologize. I don't have an answer for you on this, other than I'm happy with these and I love lithium ion battery technology. But it's not an empty-handed answer, because I went through this same idea that you had, because it's a brilliant idea. And I think what you'll find is the reason that they don't have anything like this commercially available is because the technology doesn't exist yet. The only way to provide that, what they need to run these tools, is through a power pack, through a battery. That's why the physics of it require that you charge this for so long. There isn't enough amperage So that's my kind of harebrained, like, I really don't know. You say you're coming from it from your knowledge is house electric. You know, that's what you know about. Me, I don't know anything. I know from experience, from trying shit, which is not knowing Ohm's law and being proud that I don't know it. You know, I took electronics at LT, that poor Mr. Gardner, but I was tripping I was tripping balls in electronics. I don't remember any of it, and like I said, my whole thing is kind of hackish. And like I said, I really did try to crack this nut. As far as I went with the power supplies was 5 amps. Now, since then, I've found some, I've got some power supplies that are higher than that, some 6 and some 10s, but the problem is all of the voltage regulation circuits that I can build, or the stuff that I see that's available, is limited to 1 amp. I just found a 2 amp voltage regulator and got all excited about it. I heard some guy talking about it. Oh, they make one. And I went looking for it and I can't find it. So I don't know where that's available, but believe me, I think a lot about these problems, and this is one that my answer is I've done it, but the way I did it was running a battery pack on the charger, and that seemed to give me that infinite, you know, like that was a NiCad power pack, and it worked for a long. I'd probably go in there now and it still works. I just haven't used it. But as far as me putting something like that together for you, man, I don't know what to tell you. You're better off checking out the reviews on the generic ones. And I just can't imagine. I wish I was here to face to face and talk to you to understand why a dozen of these isn't feeding your bulldog. I don't understand that. You got a dozen of them and it's not working for you? You must really be using it quite a bit. I can't imagine that. So I apologize. I haven't been able to figure that one out yet, but again, I think that the reason that it doesn't exist is because the technology doesn't exist yet. Anyway, good luck, Dave, and I apologize I couldn't be more help.